system in order for them to actually steal the money. I just needed to put it inside of a funding or something else in order for me to get rich and take the money. Cosmetology is the biggest scam. Cosmetology is the biggest scam. Make me go to school.
Yes.
Make sure
It's
there's
something
someone.
natural.
That's why you can work in the braid shop. You technically don't need to have a license.
Greetings, everyone. Greetings. How everybody doing this evening? It feels good to have our sisters and our brothers out here, especially fellowshipping together and chopping it up about the stuff that the government is doing, what they have done to us and against us, isn't it? Yeah. Well, y'all sister was over there getting off. I know they picked it up at the beginning, so right now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start off with a prayer. And then we're gonna do the introduction. Hopefully everything's still good right there. But I'm gonna start off with a prayer. We're gonna start with the introduction. But just to share with everyone on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook, and everybody here, this is called Indexing Classes in Atlanta. Today is Sunday the 29th, 2021, and we're over here at Heathful Esssnce. If y'all don't know where that is, if anybody would like to know, it's in the information. Also, we're at 875 York Street, Southwest Atlanta, Georgia, 30310. This is where we're located. This is where we are today. And this is about freeing yourself from this satanic system. So, and I'm so glad my brothers and my sisters can make it out here today. Yeah. And I know y'all only see me right here, but I will probably get a chance to show y'all a few of the peeps that's here today, that's joining us. But I am so thankful, my brothers and sisters, and I'm going to tell y'all, me and my wife, we love y'all. We love y'all, and we receive the love that y'all give, because even though this is one of my homes, even though I was born and raised in Detroit, Germany, I went from Detroit to Germany, from Germany to Mississippi, and Mississippi here. All of these are my homes. This is one of my homes as well, but I have to say, this is my well-loved. When I come here, I'm going to tell you, I receive love from everybody and everyone. Not saying I don't receive love from the other ones, but this is where the heart pumps. I'm just going to let y'all know, and I'm not putting nobody down. I love y'all all. Germany, Mississippi, California, everywhere you at, New York. But I only been in the ones that I shared with you. But I'm getting ready to do a prayer. I'm going to pray to the Father of all life. You know, I'm not giving the Father a name except for what I know about what we call him Yahweh. Yahweh, we call him in the Hebrew community. Some people call him Allah and many other different names, and I have no gripes with that, because the Father is something that I want to share with all y'all real quick before I go into the prayer. When I had an invitation to Mississippi this time last week. It was quick. I had to go to Mississippi for a few days to visit an elder that was a part of this fist I call the band of the hand that me and these brothers was a part of when I learned the Bible. After going through my spiritual awakening in Germany, went to Mississippi, learned the Bible, was there for 10 years, then furthering my education spiritually here in Atlanta, learning more information that was in the Bible, whether you agree with the Bible or not, just sharing information. Learning more information that's in the Bible that's hidden, that's right in front of your face that you can't see. But the Father allowed me to do that before telling me that the woman that I'm going to meet, I'm going to meet her in Detroit, and she's going to be with me, and she's right here. That's my baby, Joanne. And that was told to me from a brother here in Atlanta before I left to go home. His name is Netter, you know. So, but other than that, let me go ahead and get started with the prayer. Blessed be thou, Father universe, Father of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Blessed be thou, Father of Israel. Blessed be thou, Father of the 12 tribes of Israel. Thank you, Father, for all you've done, been doing, and plan to do. We ask you keep giving us wisdom, knowledge, understanding, life, health, and strength, food, shelter, and clothing. Let us be happy, healthy, wealthy, wise, and prosperous in all that we do. We ask you to lead and guide us, that we can help lead and guide others into your knowledge, your word, your information, and your ruach, which is your spirit. We ask you, Father, to keep your arms of protection around us at all times, keep us elevating at all times. And also, we also ask you to forgive us, our ancestors, and our forefathers for the sins and the trespasses and the iniquities that they have done in time past, today, and time to come that they don't know about. We thank you, Father, for all these things. We ask you to keep prospering us, keep leading and guiding us, and establish us as a nation and as a people in this world as your kingdom grow in this day and time and beyond. We thank you, praise you, and promote you. Hallelujah. 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 Thank you, Almighty. I praise you and I thank you. And we're going to start with the theme song. Y'all may have remember it from last year, but it goes a little something like this. Hopefully we're still in the Bluetooth. We'll take it like this. Oh, let me see if it's in. I don't think it's in. Let me check one more time. Nope. Okay. Nope, it's in. I think it's in, baby. It just has to be connected. Okay, it is connected. Was connected. One moment. Woo! It's warm out here, y'all. What's the weather out here, everybody? Hot. That's it. That is it. Hold on. Hit it like that. Hit it like that. We're connected. Connecting. We got it. So we're going right here. Y'all, this is my baby right here next to me, y'all. This is my sweetie, y'all. Joanne. Now I'm gonna go here. And we're gonna go here.
They said I only got 15 seconds. Time coming, but I know I'll take it. Let's go. Lord, I'm feeling so misunderstood. They acting like I'm bad for trying to do something good. I'm reading all the hate and it's twisting my stomach up. I'ma love them past the hate and let them know you love the hood. You told us love the orphan. These kids ain't got no fathers. Grew up playing cops and robbers. Now they dying in cops and robbing. My babies getting murdered while they still inside their mamas. Feeling like we lost them and it's kinda like we tried to find them. And they so used to hearing lies, they feel like I'm lying. They think I'm trying to shine, but inside I feel like I'm dying. Society left us behind, they was tired of trying. You can save them, but they can't deny it if they find the lying. Something out of void, some feel a bit of drug. That's only temporary, what they need is your love. I see a change coming, I gotta say something. It's just come on, man. There you go. There you go. Seems like the love is little, but the hate is plenty. The world is on your shoulders. I know the weight is heavy. I'm working 9 to 5. I feel your pain and Fendi. In it for the money, dummy. I ain't made a penny. This for your kids and mine. Gotta reverse the damage. It hurts to fathom how young we letting the hearses happen. How many kids would be alive if it wasn't for them throwing up a wicked gang sign? You tell me if I'm lying. Straight up, that's real talk. You see the ground, that's real talk. These teenagers get built off. The big shit like that get silked off. And they can only learn what we teach them. If it's only 15 seconds, then I'ma reach them. Let's go. It's been a long
gonna come. It's been a long time coming. Oh, you heard? You heard that? History keep repeating itself. You go ahead and set that up, baby, for Shelly. But greetings, everybody. Just like Bizzle just said, and also Sam Cook. It's been a long time coming, but I know a change gonna come.
Yes.
The change is here. It's here, y'all. It's been going on for quite some time. The spiritual awakening has been going on for quite some time. A lot of people are just waking up to it, but it's been going on for ages. It's been going on for ages. And before I'm going to tell you something about the end of the information, at this point. When the Father spoke to Daniel, or should I say, showed Nebuchadnezzar the dream in Daniel chapter 2, and at the end of that dream, or at the end of the information in chapter 2, verse 44 and 45, it talked about the kingdom, the statue being broken down by the stone without hands. Do y'all remember that story? Any of y'all remember that story?
Yes.
The stone without, I'm not going to give you the stone yet, but those 4 nations that's going to be broken down was Babylon, the Medes and the Persians, the Greek, and the Roman Empire. Now let me share something with y'all with that, so when y'all go to this story, you can bring to remembrance with you. The Father said, through those 4 kingdoms, he's going to set up a nation. At the time of Babylon, Israel was born. Israel was born at that time. The Father gave the laws to the children. Actually, he established his law with Abraham, but he really established his laws with the children of Israel. The children of Israel was established in the time of Babylon, and many of them kept the law. Some of them fell by the wayside, but the Father said to Elijah, when he was running from Jezebel, that I got 7,000 prophets that never bowed a knee to Baal. So we got to understand, in this world, we see a lot of stuff going on. The whole world has been in turmoil by the wrath of the Father. And I just shared this a little earlier, but I want to put this in y'all ear. Majority of the turmoil y'all see in Revelations comes from Jeremiah chapter 25. Y'all go back and study this. Jeremiah 25, I think, started at verse 15 on through the rest. When the Father tells Jeremiah about the cup of his fury, he's going to give the cup of his fury and make all nations drink of the cup of his fury. All nations have drunk from the cup of his fury, because when Greek and Rome came into power, this is where your New World Order started. It started from the law, or mainly from those different nations going against and away from the law. But Israel was commanded to keep the law. So that all this pertains about the law. The law. That's what it all pertains to, and that's what everything is going back to. And also something me and my baby, we talked about here last night. I'm going to bring back that up in a little bit later, because there was something last night that we actually see about the earth. First was water, and land came up out of the water, right? Wasn't the whole world supposed to be made of water first, and then land came up out of it? Even if the quote-unquote flood, let's just look at the flood, everything was water, right? The first time water, the second time fire. I just want y'all to remember that. We got something we're going to share with y'all that me and her, that the Spirit just gave us information this morning that we was talking about, and this my yin and yang. We come up with stuff all the time. I'm talking about one thing, something coming to her, and that's always good. That's why the Father made a helpmeet for Adam according to the story. I'm just going to put it like that. I'm just going according to the story. I'm not trying to say facts and this and that, because I'm a man of prophecy. I give you prophecy and show you stuff. Everybody can argue over stories all day long. And I agree with all the stories, because all of them are entwined when you actually understand and study. But we're going to get off that. We're going to do indexing right now. And as I was sharing with you earlier, that we're in today's time, and the wrath of the Father has been laid out throughout the whole earth. And if you follow Jeremiah 25, verse, I think it starts at 15. But from verse 15 throughout the rest of that, you will see that right there, and everything that happened in Revelations pertains to Jeremiah 25. So, we are at the end of the 400 years. It was 400-year prophecy that the Father told Abraham, know for a surety that thy seed will sojourn in a land that's not theirs and be in bondage 400 years. And after that, I will judge that nation, and they shall come out with great substance. Okay, now, we understand that the children of Egypt sojourned in Egypt at one time before, according to the story. I'm just giving you stories before I go into the facts of prophecy, right? They sojourned into Egypt and then became in bondage 210 years. 210 years, but they was there 400 years, but they wasn't in bondage or in servitude, but 210 years. In this day and time, it has been recorded, that's how I like to say it. It has been recorded, we have been in bondage 3 ways. I'm going to give y'all the 3 curses that we've been in bondage under. We've been in bondage from 1619 to 2019. Some want to argue 1619 to 2020. Either or, Father, I'm concerned, you're still getting 400 years. Bottom line, 400 years. Okay, now, we've been in bondage according to the research and history that we've been in bondage here. I'm going to give you the 3 aspects we've been in bondage. And I was sharing this earlier. A lot of other countries in the world, such as Africa, which is a continent, and other countries, a lot of them still know their language, their culture, their land. A lot of them know that. When we was brought here, now that's physically. Now that's physical, right? Now, mentally, physical, and spiritual in America and in other places of the world, but mainly here in America, we was brought over here physically in bondage. Mentally in bondage. Mentally is because we don't know our language, our land, know our culture. Now, we're in bondage because we don't know actually what land we are in the continent of Africa. People talk about Africa like it's a city or like it's a state. Africa is a continent, it's a vast continent. So we don't know what part in Africa we are actually from. We are a mixed conglomerate of people that has been brought over here thinking one thing compared to what it really is. So, or that was brought up over here from the ancestors that was already here. I can agree to that. You know what I'm saying? But the point that I'm getting at, according to the bondage situation, we don't know who we are amongst the natives, the Africans, the some Indians. You know what I'm saying? When I mean India, I mean from India, not from the Indians that they call Indians here. So we look at that now. That's mental and that's physical. Now let's look at the spiritual. Satan has deceived the whole world. Satan is that entity which is of the Roman Empire, which is of the wrath of the Father, that he said he's going to put upon the whole earth, according to Jeremiah 25. That you'll see all in Revelation, the 4 horsemen, and I believe the pale horse was the one of war, right? The one of destruction, am I right? Mm-hmm. That's the Caucasian man that's been all over the whole earth. Now, who is this?
That's because you put it up.
A matter of fact, let me do this real quick. Now let me do not disturb. Mm-hmm. Okay, and go back where we were. Resume. Thank you. Got a little bit interruption right there. But just sharing with you. Lost my train of thought real quick.
We were talking about the pale horse.
Yeah, the pale horse. Thank you, baby. Mm-hmm. Cut the line. It's back together now. The pale horse, it talks about the destruction. That was when the pale horse came into power. That's when Greek and Rome took over the earth. They went into Mizraim. What they do? They shot the Sphinx nose off to try to show. And then they're whitewashing it still until this day. Am I right? Yeah, right. Mizraim is being washed with. For y'all don't know the correct name of Egypt. The correct name is Mizraim, but they call Egypt. But Egypt is another name for bondage as well. Because this is the modern day of what they call Egypt then. It's the modern day of Egypt now. This is where we at. So we are in mental, spiritual, what we have been in physical bondage. Now, to break down the information, I'm just taking you step by step according to prophecy in the book, what we're living now. And I also did a post a couple of days ago on the Shabbat. I did a post called Prophecies, Understanding, Indexing, and the Times of Today. That's what it's called on Facebook and Instagram. I did a a post. And I mean the same thing I'm saying now, but I didn't go too deep because I wanted to go into the indexing with the information now. But I mainly wanted to give everybody past, present, and future where we at right now. So, as I was just sharing with you, the fact that we have been in bondage in this day, according to Jeremiah 25, when Greek and Rome came into power, they took over the earth. They changed history. They gave you other information. And I'm just going to throw this out to the believers and non-believers, or to the ones that know or don't know. Do your research on this right here real quick. And a lot of us already understand or know this. If you do your research and you know the story of Horus, Haru, and Isis, if you know that story, the Greeks, which is King Constantine, I'm just going to give you the rundown of the conglomerate. I ain't going there to pick. I just like to give the broad statement, and y'all can go inside and do the research yourself. But King Constantine, the Council of Nicaea, and the Crusaders, which went around the world making people accept Christianity as the world religion, and then a lot of Muslim is a part of that, but mostly segregated from it, but it has some dealings with it. But the whole point is the fact that the Crusaders, which you could say Paul was probably one of them. See what I'm saying? Paul was probably the Crusader going around killing, and then he turned his mind was turned to a whole different aspect. But I'm not going to say that. I'm just going to leave it where it is. So the Crusaders went around the world making people accept Christianity as the religion of the day. And when you look in Revelation, when it talks about the deadly wound was healed, Caesar was the king, right? Caesar was the king of Rome. What happened to the Roman Empire? They don't have a regular Caesar no more. Now I like to break down the kingdom to y'all, where the deadly wound was healed through who? The one we call Victorious Philly D, which is the proper name or title of the Pope. The Pope was the deadly wound that was healed in this day and time. Now, the reason why, because there's no Caesars no more. Now we got a quote-unquote priest. Now let me give you the king, queen of the earth. How many of y'all have heard of any nation coming against the Queen of England? Have anybody that y'all know came against the Queen? Okay, you know why? Because she's the king, queen. She's the woman of abomination sitting on the scarlet colored beast. However you want to look at it. She's the one in charge. Everybody, let me get a breakdown, I'm going too fast. The queen is the king of every kingdom. Has a king, a priest, an army, and the populace, the subjects. Am I right? Yeah. Okay. The king, queen is the queen, the abomination of the earth, which is the queen that's over everything in the earth at this point in time. As they say, even though she's falling, she's coming out. There's a lot of stuff going on right now in the works that people don't know about. But the queen is falling, but the queen is the king, queen of the kingdom, which is the earth. The bishop is the pope. The bishop is the pope, and then when it speaks in Revelations, but before I go there, I'm going to go ahead and break down the whole kingdom first. The bishop is the pope. The army of the king and queen is the United States Army, the Air Forces, the Marines. All these are the forces of the king, or shall I say the queen, and the pope. Y'all, we all know that United States is stationed in almost every country in the earth, right? Why are they stationed there? They ain't stationed there to actually help the people. They're the watchdogs for the queen and the pope.
Keep them people in mind.
Exactly. They are the watchdogs for the king and the queen. This is her army. And all this is a corporation. All this is under the corporation. So, now, who is her subjects? Who is her populace? The world. Everybody's got a birth certificate, social security card, and ID card. Is her pupils, is her populace. The reason being because in Revelation 13, it says, no man would buy or sell, rich, poor, free or bond, unless you get the name. We ain't gonna talk about the mark. We'll get to the mark later. Right now, we're gonna just talk about the name and the number. Everybody has the name and the number. Now, that name is your birth certificate that your mother gave the system, the doctors, the doc, how you want to call it, they gave the doc at birth. Now, at birth, by you getting a birth certificate from the system, the birth certificates consist of the name at birth, and every time you, well, let me, I'm going still ahead, the number is the social security number. Now, the social security number and the birth certificate follows you from the womb to the tomb. And how I usually break it down, when a woman has a child, that child is a living, breathing, spiritual being in flesh. But what they do is they put a cap on it at birth that follows you from the womb to the tomb, which is the birth certificate and the social security card. That birth certificate and social security card is a part of your ID card once you become old enough to have an ID card. This is the reason why every time you get stopped in the streets, wherever you go, if you apply for something, if you want a car, you want to do a business, what they going to ask you for? Let me see your ID.
Yeah.
They'll say, let me see your ID.
Nothing without it.
This is where the world has been under the New World Order. That's the New World Order. The name and the number of your birth certificate, social security card, and your ID card carries both of those identities in it, because when they pull your stuff up, whatever they're looking for you in the system, it goes from doctor,